Alrighty.
3,
Say the
2,
outlaws ghost
1.
still intrusive planes.
Escort
Alright,
the
so
payload.
quick note: be careful about like flying over this roof before you know that's empty, right? So if you want to check the roof, like you fly up, right? You look down, and if it's empty, you consider landing. The big reason why you don't want to land very often is because if there's someone up down here, you have to fight them, and people over here can shoot you. And there's zero cover here, and you also can't get back over this roof unless you have boosters, right? You actually can't really jump over this. Um, you might. I'm not actually totally sure if you can. You can, but I'm pretty sure you can't actually jump over this roof naturally. So you have to have boosters, and it's very risky because if you get stuck here, you're dead, right? You lose mech. Um, so just something to keep in mind. Like if you want to check the roof, that's totally okay. Just fly up, look down, right? You'll see whether or not the roof is empty, right? And then you can DM on your way down to make sure you don't catch any flak from that. And you can consider landing here again, but you don't have to. Whoops, wrong person. So get in the habit of like, so what it looks like you're doing right now is you're trying to DM every shot, which is fine, and really good that you're trying that. But it looks like you're waiting until you see the projectile eaten before you let go. So you just sort of have to like know your own range and know that like when you flash your DM, you'll automatically eat it, right? And so both these shots you ate as soon as you DM'd, but then you held your DM for like half a second too long, or not half, yeah, but a slightly too long, and you eventually fell behind the Zarya's rate of fire, right? So this is really micro. I don't even know why I'm not actually commenting on this, to be honest. Like, yeah, you see how you hold your DM slightly too long? Just like flash your DM, just immediately let go, and you'll both have more DM to spare, and your DM will come off cooldown faster and let you eat more shots. I know it's common to just like hold DM while you missile, but in this case, like there's nothing to DM, so don't. Sounds really obvious. Also, generally speaking, this is not the roof you want to hold. You want to make sure that they can't play this roof, but once you have control of this roof, you want to get over here. This is actually your spot. You can also consider just like, oh, my game froze. Dropping, or even coming from underneath and lining up here, and see if you can get a boot buff on this side. Because if you knock them off the high ground, it's a big win for your team. But for the most part, you want to play like closer to the edge, so you can get support from your teammates, right? Or your Zarya can bubble you, etc., etc. Or you want to, and then like you want to transition to over here, because this spot is like what actually matters, right? You see how you're just getting poked out? You see how you're just getting poked out and only the Mercy's healing you? And because the Mercy's healing you, she's not damage boosting the Ashe, and you're not getting help from your Zen lower because you're never peeking him, right? You're not playing like the back edge, for example, so you can't get any help from your guy, right? I really like how you turn around here. I was about to say it was too aggressive, and I realized that you'd already turned around, which is really good. Yeah, don't that's really good. Again, this roof's not important. They literally can't play here. You're looking at the heroes, and none of them can come over here, right? So like, time to transition over here, right? Once you're here, right? Now you can start considering like more aggressive plays, right? Again, one general rule is D.Va is if you're trading fire with them at range, you're probably losing, right? So if you look at if you think how much damage you're actually doing, it's very, very little, right? Meanwhile, the Sig and the Zarya, as they shoot you, are doing like real damage to you because their heroes just do more damage at range, right? Obviously, you're not getting beamed, which is good, but you are taking Sigma shots at full damage. You're taking Zarya right clicks for the most part, right? Like you just don't want to take this damage, so don't take it, right? Go put like a wall between you and them, right? This is what I mean. What I mean when I say stop taking damage as D.Va, or try to take less damage, because this is damage that you don't have to take. That's giving you very little like in return, right? So if you were just like over here, you just wouldn't take this damage, right? If you were even just like waiting behind the corner, you wouldn't take this damage, right? If you were just sitting here, you wouldn't take this damage, right? So like, just like use cover to make sure you don't take damage. Like I know your mech is beefy, but like if this is an Ashe here just shooting you, pelting you in the face, you're really sad, and you'd run out of DM. And for the most part, I don't think you would change much, to be honest. Like, and as you currently are. So like, just make sure that like you're avoiding their damage because you don't benefit from this damage. You don't benefit from taking the damage. You don't benefit from like dealing the 2% of ult you get from here, right?
Now that's teamwork.
Again, if you want to fly for the roof, make sure that like you're ready to back out, right? So like if you land on the roof, you want to land on the edge so that we can always drop, right? But you went too deep, so now you're stuck, and you're going to spend at least 3 seconds, not 3 seconds, but like a couple seconds waking up and then backing out of the roof as opposed to just dropping off, right? And that's actually a really big difference. Also, like again, if you get to this point and you realize that like you don't want to keep flying, just literally swing your mouse, swipe your mouse 180, degrees and drop down, right? And you'll be fine.
Get through this.
Yeah, so this Zarya cooks you for, oh my god, you're still staying up here. Alright, the Zarya straight up destroys your mech, right? So she was cooking you for, she was getting at least 100 damage off you either way, but you try to fight it and back up this way as opposed to off the roof, right? And that's why you lose your mech.
Bailing out.
Tracer's hunting you. Hunting back.
The enemy is here. Impact.
Were you trying to get her back, guys?
Show them.
Should we expect grab relatively soon? I'd be worried about it. I don't think she has it. I can see it.
Now that's
You
teamwork.
should have it. Again, like, don't play like angles where like you don't really benefit much. You'd rather, like, for example, you see both tanks here, right? So now that you've seen both tanks here, what was stopping you from taking taking this spot earlier? It was the Zarya, right? So now you see the Zarya, you just fly up here, you just pelt them from the high ground. You've taken the high ground as yours, right? It's free. This is what I mean by taking free space and not trying to force stuff. But also, like, yeah, just go take the high ground. There's nobody stopping you. You know, might as well. Plus, it's a way better position to eat grab, because either the Zarya looks at you and cannot actually grab anything, because if she shoots it at you, she's stupid, right? Or she risks not knowing whether or not you're looking at her or your DM while she tries to consider grabbing your team, right? So just by playing here, you put a lot of pressure on the grab. Because you're also shooting in the back.
Get into position.
DM.
Damage increase.
Good job. So while your team is on cart, right? So generally speaking, pushing cart is D.Va's responsibility, but your whole team is not playing very intelligently, so they're all playing on cart, right? So if you see this happening, right, just go fly up to here so you can scout, right? So you can tell your team whether or not, like, I mean, quick play maybe not so much, but in like scrims, you can tell your team they're trying to contest, right? And you can warn your supports to get off the cart, and you can get back on it, right? But the most important thing is scouting, right? Because if they're not actually trying to contest, there's no issues here, right? But they are trying to contest, your supports are way out of position, right? They're both just sitting on cart, right? That's not good. Oh, nice.
Barriers on. I cast this forth. The payload has reached. Behind you.
Yeah, so that wasn't that bad, but it also wasn't a very good trade, right? So it was good that you did that, but remember to do it from, like, you'd much rather do it if she was trying to push into you on this corner when you get support from your teammate. If she pushes too far into you, then she leaves her team behind, right? There's two corners between her and the supports. Then you come in and you kill her, right? But you don't want to force this trade because, generally speaking, Zarya likes taking these trades, right? You much rather just sit above her some ways where she can't really shoot you very easily, and you just pelt her from high ground, right? Your Ash is popping off though. So again, you see both things at low ground. This is like a free sign to go take high ground. Like there's nothing that can stop you, so you might as well just go for it. If it turns out there is again something up here that you can't interact with, like a Widow, right? Just like as you get up here, just flash your DM to block shots, and then jump around the corner and land here to be safe, right? Now you've got hard cover. You're still on the high ground, and you have decisions you can make, right? You can either like drop, try to get underneath her, and then like come blow up the sniper playing out here. Or just like chill up here and wait for something to happen, right? That's totally fine. Again, if you want to play here, you much have to play high ground. And now now that you heard a soldier, by the way, I don't know if you like understood where that was coming from, but again, like there's only two spots that like someone can be, right? And shooting on the enemy team, right? There's this general area which you're facing and you can see, and then there's this general direction, right? So as soon as you hear that helix behind you, that soldier's up there, right? It's time to you don't have to necessarily fly them, but you do need to start walking at them and DMing your teammates. So like just start like walking over here. DM, and as you get to here, then you fly up to him and kick him out, right? If he's still there. He really shouldn't stay, but you know, if he's still there, you kick him out.
Time to raise my BTM.
Again, not the best trading here.
I'm ready to initiate self-destruct sequence. Defense matrix activated.
Yeah, I saw this in the scrim, by the way. You're doing a lot better job handling tracers, which is really cool.
Tower
So you're looking for bubbles here, and then when you see the bubble, okay, now you throw the bomb. You should just throw the Diva Bomb over here. It'll probably kill someone. I thought you were actually about to throw the bomb. I was like, wow, that's so good. And then you boosted into her and stopped. So generally speaking, you should not try to fight Zaryas until they're like in a position where they have nothing else that they can do, and you're just trying to kill them, right? So in this case, you saw that personal bubble, which is good, and then you went in. That's a good sign. A good sign to go in. But then she got nanoed, right? Well, as soon as she gets nanoed, it's time to leave, right? You don't want to fight this guy anymore. This guy's super strong. Like there's and plus she has both supports to pocket her, so like there's actually no way like this guy would have to be like I don't know, like 300 SR for you to like for him to like lose this 1v1, right? And it's a 3v1, so he should still not lose this, no matter how bad this guy is, right? This is just a bad trade. Like you boosted into him to fight him, and then you're realizing that like you can't fight him because he's stronger than you, but because you boosted into that to do that, now you can't run away, right? Right, so this is a much better time to go in because he didn't have personal bubble for a couple more seconds. His nano ran out, and you actually have teammates with you now, right? But again, when you boost up, right? Again, when you boost into him, boost, shoot, fly to high ground, land here, and then you can shoot him on like you can shoot him very safely as he tries to cross back, right? And this is like very safe. Like you can't be shot by anybody over here, right? You just shoot, and then as it gets to this side, then you can consider bombing, right? You can start considering whether or not you want to throw a bomb, right? So you start backing up, and then you go like, okay, bomb. Boom, everything dies, right?
Allow me to repair the damage.
You're so close. You're even thinking about it. You're flicking up, but you gotta go to the high ground. You gotta keep going. Again, like if you're chasing, like just end the chase on the high ground, and it'll be a better chase automatically, right? Because now you're committed with deep with no boosters. So if for the next 4 seconds, and believe me, Diva can take a lot of damage in 4 seconds. You got a big head hitbox and a big hitbox, right? Just in general. So there's a very good chance you can just straight up die in this 4 seconds, or at least in the, right? I mean you have boosters, so you do have a get out of jail free card, but like it's just not necessary when you can go high ground, right? So if you're going to boost into this guy, right? Just like commit the boost, right? Like boost into him, melee him, like do what you need to, but just like fly into him and try just like unload your full combo, right? Don't just like boost for 2 feet, because if you didn't actually boost into him, right? Say like you turn around, he saw you, you boosted here, and you parked yourself like right next to him, right? Then like he could just turn around and run, right? So you really just want to ram him, right? You want to hit him, like hit and run, except you're not running. You're just hitting and you keep going, right? You hit him to boop him, and then you fly into him again while he's booped. So that way you're right on top of him and you unload, right? The purpose of the boop is to stop him from moving, right? Or it doesn't stop him from moving, but stop him from like choosing the direction he's moving, right? So like, say he turns around, he sees you, you boop him, he gets hit, and he wants to go this way. Now you stop him from going this way entirely. Now he has to try and get away this way, but as long as you keep your fly going, you'll still like be able to chase him down during the second half of the boop, right? So let me show you what that looks like real quick, and I'll go back to that in a second.
I play to win.
So if I want to chase this guy, right? I fly through him, right? And then I keep going to catch up with the boop, right? Right. And then I kill him, right? And if you unload missiles at the same time, they just sort of melt. I need to stop. I'm trying to not intentionally headshot this guy, or else it actually just explodes. Okay, yeah, he dies. Just dies too fast. I'll stop shooting him during the fly. Hang on, let me get my missiles back. Alright. Whoops, I messed up. My mouse hit my keyboard. But you get the idea, right? If he tries to go the other way, then you turn around and shoot him, right? So that's your bread and butter assassination, right? You just keep flying in because the boop does some damage, and then on top of that, it gets you a free melee. Plus, that gets you into optimal shotgun range, right? So it does a lot of good things. Just like all in him, right? That's how you all in. Sorry. Get back to the VOD. Oh, whoops, I'm stupid. Dorado.
Traveling to Dorado. Ready for
Oh, this is a fast game. Holy. Holy.
the payload.
I think I went a little too far.
Weapon systems over. Not one.
Oh, he's T-posing. Yeah, the only reason why you kill this guy, by the way, is because he tries to run back into you, as opposed to trying to run away. If he actually like saw you, right? If this guy was like GM or something, or even like anywhere, not even GM, but like anywhere in a higher rank, then like Diamond probably. Like he sees you, he turns around, and then like he just turn around and run away, right? And you would probably live. The only reason this kill is so simple is because he tries to run back into his team for some reason. He tries to fight you. Like you see how you're consistently ending boosts really quickly, right? You just kind of boost like 2 feet, right? You can just walk this distance, right? It's not a big deal. If you want to boost, like you're boosting in, right? You're committing to get like the boost damage and like getting yourself point blank with them, right? There's very few situations. There are situations you don't want to boot people, but like generally speaking, you can't go. Like it's not necessarily that bad. Like, the majority of the time you'd rather fly into them than like stop it short and not boot, right? For example, if someone's sleeping, you don't want to wake them up, right? So you don't fly into them, right? But for generally speaking, you want to fly into people and just like unload.
This will restore the payload.
Weapon systems overloaded. Routing power to forward
It
shield.
looks like you accidentally messed up the flying.
I'm gonna have to shoot you down.
Soldier ulting, that's your responsibility.
Routing power to forward now.
Alright, I'd like to see you respond to that a little bit faster. That was still a good response. But like, you hear Soldier ult, right? Again, you don't just start the boost immediately. Oh, too late. You don't just start the boost as soon as you hear the Soldier ult, but you do need to look, right? So, like, do you see how fast the Zarya responded, right? Do you see how fast the Zarya turned around? That's how fast I want you to turn around. Just be like, Soldier ult, oh my god, where is it, right? And then turn around, you see this guy like landing, just like, that's when you boost in, right? Drop them, put Matrix across this doorway, and then eventually put it on him, and then just kill him, right? Because you're super favored. This is a really bad tac visor.
Routing power.
It kind of takes you a long time to get it. Just respond a little bit faster, and then you'll be good.
Healed up.
By the way, bombs over this wall are really good if you know the supports are being stupid and playing this general area, right? Again, supports generally want to play either here, or high ground, right? And if you just like chill around this area, you should get a rough idea where they are. Just like, I mean, you just hang out over here, you can see this happening, right? Like you can just like look at them through this thing, and then you can just consider, and then you can try to place your bomb accordingly, right? If it turns out they're being smart and they're not actually playing with their Rhine, right? Then you just go to the high ground, and you shoot the Rhine from the high ground as soon as because like if the Rhine's alone, he's going to back up, right? So you just play here, you just shoot the high ground from above. He's super sad, right? And then he dies, right? You can DM his heals if he's got Ana playing back here, right? You can just sit here and just like DM. And if like the people are playing with them, then you have a really great bomb angle, right? You just play here, you throw the bomb, everybody dies, right?
Nerf this.
That's still a decent bomb. Just the biggest problem with this bomb. Oh, okay. All right. The biggest problem with this bomb is that it like kind of exposed your hero, right? So you'd much rather throw the bomb from this side or on the high ground, right? Instead of like piloting it here and then like doing this, right? So instead of doing that, like just like kind of like fly around here, right? And then like throw the bomb straight up, right? And try to land on the high ground, right? So you want to do this from a high enough altitude at the end of your boosters that you can land on the high ground, so that way you don't die. Or just do it like a set bomb from like over here and just like throw it over the wall, right? It'll like detonate right here, and this is like optimal placement. Good place to run away. Find your flex support. Decide what you actually put the tracer. You can find the tracer. Great. That was really good heal for the tracer. Again, don't be afraid to just like fly into the tracer, right? Like fly into her, and if she blinks, then you like turn around mid boost and fly back, and then you melee her, and you probably hit her. Yeah. Okay, well your team just won.
Victory.
So a lot of things you've already developed. You're much better at handling tracers now, which is really good. Just keep in mind, you're also like I think using your boosters more, which is good, because I don't know, you weren't really using your boosters a lot before. I think. So yeah, you're using boosters more, which is good. Using DM better. Just keep in mind that of your own positioning as a hero, and try to avoid take positions that stop you from taking so much damage. Right. Don't trade with people at long range. It's really, really bad for D.Va. The point of playing long range as D.Va is mainly just a scout, right? You're here that's not going to die in the scout, so you just jump over a wall or something, or you just like play behind a corner. You peek with missiles and DM, and you get all the scouting info, right? And you don't take any damage that way, and it's great. You don't even have to peek with missiles if it's like you're just collecting info, right? It's like you're just trying to look for Widow. You peek out, flash your DM, you catch the Widow, and be like, there's a Widow in this spot, and you call it and you leave, right? Um, but generally speaking, you don't want to play long angles if you're not intending to fight. You shouldn't take long angles in general, especially if you're planning to fight. Sorry. Remember to continue with boosters, fly through people, right? And yeah, you end a lot of boosters really early, so just keep that in mind. Generally speaking, you want to end boosters on high ground whenever possible, especially since like you're ending boosters so early that you had plenty of fuel on them left, and you could easily just like go back to high ground with many of these boosters. And when you have bomb, look for bomb angles where you can just throw it over rooftops and over buildings, and people that massively increases the odds that the bomb is successful, especially with this ELO. What else? I think those are the big points. Let me know if you have any questions, or if you want any clarifications. Yeah, I'll edit here.